Teacher?
I see your talents have gone beyond the mere physical level. Your skills are now at the point of spiritual insight. What is the highest technique you hope to achieve?
To have no technique.
Every once in a while, a person comes along with a mix of qualities that produces something phenomenal.
Definitely, in the beginning, I had no intention or whatsoever that what I was practicing and what I'm still practicing now would lead to this to begin with.
The interesting thing about my life, my career, was that as a young kid, I was extremely shy and introverted. But when I left the Olympics with the gold medal, I wanted to pursue my education. I was going to University of Maryland. The only thing that made me deviate from that was my father was sick. He went into a coma. We had no money. I turned professional to make money to pay for the hospital bills.
It's the internment that has defined my life. I remember the barbed wire fence, the sentry towers with the machine guns pointed at us, lining up 3 times a day to eat in a noisy mess hall. When I made the night runs to the latrine, searchlights followed me. And my parents struggled through all that. And you know, all that they did, the hardships that they went through, and the guidance that they gave us, we were their hope for the future. And I took that as a great responsibility.
My childhood, and you know, being that lost kid, feeling that sense of alienation and not being able to find myself in this fog. When I was able to find something that I felt an emotional connection with, and to be able to create and produce music, gives you something to live for. You know, because you always want to find those things like make you happy.
He was born onto a path that was unique to him, really, because of many factors. He was born in the United States. He was not a particularly robust or healthy child. His first 5 years were spent under Japanese occupation of Hong Kong. When he was introduced to Kung Fu when he was 13 years old, that began to shape his path as well. In addition, you know, he was a child actor. Together, all of these factors produced a person that had an inner energy and an inner focus, and could project a goal, a vision for himself of where he wanted to go.
All type of knowledge ultimately means self-knowledge.
He may have been the most self-educated person I have ever known, because his education did not end with school.
Everything I've learned has been like non-traditional, and it's given me a lot of hope. Because every time I would start something, I'd have like this kind of insecure feeling if I could even jump into something brand new without the proper kind of education and background that like maybe some of my peers have had. I'm constantly just trying to master my own skill set. Even if I've felt like I've reached a certain pinnacle, like there's so much more to learn and like unlearn from what you're doing.
I mean, here it is, the natural instinct, and here is control. You are to combine the two in harmony. Not, if you have one to the extreme, you will be very unscientific. If you have another to the extreme, you become all of a sudden a mechanical man, no longer a human being. So it is a successful combination of both.
You have to have that kind of self-knowledge where you know that you are a fallible human being as well. But you also have to know your strength. And that gives you that confidence. It's not this arrogant, I know everything. To be open to learning.
For some reason, I knew that once I found myself, if you will, all of a sudden I felt that I could exist, or I could do anything. I could win. I could excel. And I became extremely confident, very confident, and extremely self-disciplined at 14.
What was that? An exhibition? We need emotional content. Try again.
Baby, you better train every part of your body. And when you do punch, now I'm leaning forward a little bit, hoping not to hurt any camera angle. I mean, you gotta put the whole hip into it and snap it and get all your energy in there and make this into a weapon.
You have to be armed, prepared, disciplined.
What boxing has taught me about myself and about life itself is that you must always prepare. You must always give 100%. You must never give up. And it's all about giving your all, giving your all. And I always felt that we, as people, outside the ring, are fighters. We are fighters because we fight for respect. We fight for our job. We fight for our family. And we do the road work because the road work is a necessity because we have to do our due diligence. We have to study. We have to do all those things that gives us a better chance of succeeding.
Okay, once you get it, then the next step is to master it the best of your ability. And it takes time and experience and persistence and endurance. And most importantly, for me, being able to have the courage to get up and brush the dirt off and keep doing it again.
Will I be strong enough to be able to take all that and spring back and go to the next audition? And that's the true test. You go in there saying, I will get that part, and then be surprised by that rejection. But to not be daunted by it and to be able to spring back and approach each new opportunity as a great opportunity and to say, yeah, I'm going to get that role and I have something to contribute to that.
And I faced those type of obstacles throughout my career, where at one time in a fight, the Tommy Hearns fight, 1981 to be exact, that in that ring, around the 13th round, there was a question that was asked in my mind and in my heart, because I was losing that fight. Do you go on? Do you want to go on? Are you willing to endure the pain? And I said yes, because you only have a second to answer yourself. And I answered yes.
All right, baby, here I am, man.
It's all about creating your own voice and your own space in your own way. And most importantly, believing in yourself, because that's one thing that's really hard to do.
Because there are times you question yourself, your ability. There are times you try to deceive yourself.
My parents thought it's good to be interested in the arts, but you don't think of making that your livelihood. And so I started my college studies off as a architecture student. But 2 years into that, the fire was still burning, and I just couldn't visualize myself 10 years down the road as an architect. So I came back to Los Angeles, and I told my father, I've got to be true to myself, at least be fair and give myself a chance.
Believe in yourself and believe in your passion. Embrace your passion to create something and give it out to the world.
If you really believe, and there's no bullshit, if you really believe you can win, you can win, because there is a way to win.
Look at Hollywood. Look at the movies, TV, see what kind of opportunities there are for you. They're stereotyped. Is that the kind of thing you want to be doing? And I was arrogant enough to say, I will change it. I'm going to change it. I will show them what Asians and Asian Americans are like.
Being Chinese to him was an asset. It was not a deterrent. It was not something to get over. It was something to show off.
I have already made up my mind that in the United States, I think something about the Oriental, the true Oriental should be shown.
I feel like once you're underrepresented, then you automatically become misrepresented. So it's so important for people that are underrepresented to express themselves and voice themselves so other people don't speak for them.
A good martial artist does not become tense but ready. Not thinking yet, not dreaming. Ready for whatever may come. When the opponent expands, I contract. And when he contracts, I expand. And when there is an opportunity, I do not hit. It hits all by itself.
I mean, it is easy for me to put on a show and be cocky and be flooded with a cocky feeling and then feel like pretty cool and all that. Or I can make all kinds of phony things, you see what I mean? Blinded by it. Or I can show you some really fancy movement. But to express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself, and to express myself honestly, now that, my friend.
When I was boxing, I wanted people to see it as an art and not just banging, just punching. It is an expression of oneself. It's not even what you know, your knowledge. It's also from the heart and from the mind and from the spirit. And I've always believed that.
I'm an actor, and we lie with honesty. But we find that element in us so that we can honestly play that. That's me as an artist, as an actor. But beyond that, the same kind of honesty carries over when you're doing advocacy.
All I care about is that I'm connecting authentically with as many people that are interested in music.
Special. It was special. It really was special. It wasn't about pugilism. It wasn't about punching. It was about accomplishing. It was, and through my accomplishments, I gave other people hope and inspiration. It was special.
My journey, unfinished. I am old, but not that old. I've got a lot more trekking yet to do. Boldly going where I haven't been before.
It's like expression and connection and like claiming your space, and it's expression. I guess simply it has to be that.
That is what comes across. This deeply thoughtful, deeply confident, and deeply authentic person.
If you just say, well, here I am, you know, as a human being, how can I express myself totally and completely?
He is not faking it, put it that way. It's coming from deep within himself. And I think other people see that too. There's something that comes across the screen, his charisma, whatever you want to call it, his realness, is what I would call it. They know that it came from within him. And that's what affects people. The making of Enter the Dragon and the pre-making of Enter the Dragon was a very stressful time because, and probably Bruce was nervous about that project as well because this was going to be his showcase in America and the world, and he wanted it to be great.
For DJs, the big successes are the big festival shows. Like getting that first slot in like that big festival and being on that bill alongside all these names. And the notable ones, the influential ones. 2007, I played Coachella Festival. And I remember when I played, you know, so I was so nervous. And I was surprised that people even knew who I was.
To get cast in Star Trek has been a great blessing because so much of what I personally believed in up to that point, and I learned from that experience after that, has contributed to me being who I am today.
When I won the Olympic gold medal, 1976 in Montreal, validating, it was, I'm here now. I stood on the pedestal and with my gold medal around my neck and the national anthem was being played and it was frightening, it was scary for a second. But that was the moment that I knew that I had surpassed. I'd beaten the odds.
My style? You can call it the art of fighting without fighting.
When the script was presented to him, he wanted to make changes in it. All of his ideas were great. It just took the other guys, the producers, the director, a while to realize that what he was saying was really the way they should go. Thank heavens. Enter the Dragon would not be what it is today, without Bruce's input. Enter the Dragon was going to be Enter Bruce Lee.
I've watched Enter the Dragon, I don't know, it could be thousands of times. I used to do that, make that noise, it was pretty cool.
He had his own noises, his own like mannerisms, and every single little like detail in just that, his swagger was like beyond. Like there's not even someone to this day that can come close to the swagger of Bruce Lee. Like he was the most badass, coolest, like the ultimate.
I look at Bruce Lee and he is one of a kind. There'll never be another Bruce Lee.
And then when he sits down and then he breaks down the philosophy, you're just blown away.
Bruce Lee had made a tremendous impact on me and also on the American, or not the world psyche. He was an action hero. When we'd been saddled with all these one-dimensional stereotypes, the servant, the buffoon, or the enemy. Here he was, a terrific build, incredible acrobatic athleticism, and heroic. He was someone that Asians could be proud of. And the potential for the first bankable Asian American movie star. It was a source of great pride.
He represented, you know, the goal for me. Like I always wanted to be a guy like Bruce Lee that was so eloquent, articulate. He was Asian. The most important thing for me, he was Asian in America, influencing generations of people that weren't just Asian. He was really just universally loved.
People will talk about Bruce Lee forever because of what he, not just what he did, which was amazing, not just because of his style, which was amazing. It's because of what he stood for and what he symbolized.
I feel an absolute soul level connection to his philosophies, to his message, to the message of his life, I should say. And the fact that I get to share that then with and continue sharing that and hopefully continue to inspire people around the world through that is extremely satisfying and fulfilling to me.
It's kind of a young age to start learning about all this stuff, and it's hard to understand sometimes, but he is a really inspiring person, and it's just really cool to know about all this stuff, because it's like, first of all, it can help you in life, and second of all, it's just really cool to know about.
That's it. How did it feel to you?
Let me think.
Don't think. Feel. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
He was such an important role model. He was so crucial to my development. Like, I always needed something. I needed like a guiding light.
There's something about my father's legacy that I love, and that is, maybe the word is expansive. Because to me, the lesson of his legacy is somewhere in the notion that a person, an individual who cultivates themselves to the level that he did and then expresses that out into the world can, in fact, one person make a huge impact.
There was so much potential, so much more he could have contributed. And he was so young, just at the beginning of that skyrocketing, amazing career that was waiting for him. Heartbreaking.
There's really no one word that would justify what Bruce Lee was and to describe him. But if I had to use one word, I would say gifted. Because he was a gift to a lot of people, to millions of people around the world.
Like a guru. He's a guru of life.
He was just a really awesome and inspiring person.
I don't have to come up with a lot of words to describe Bruce Lee because he could do it himself.
You know what I want to think of myself? As a human being. Because, I mean, I don't want to sound like, as Confucius say, but under the sky, under the heaven, man, there is but one family. It just so happened, man, that people are different.